What's your ideal length of time? Let's see. What's your ideal length of time, including foreplay, for sex to last? 0 to 10 minutes, 11 to 20 minutes, 21 to 30, 31 to 60, over an hour. I'm going to say 0 to 10.
Dude, if I were you, I would totally be like, is there one lower than 10?
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
And that's why it's now mandatory. Every employee has to wash their hands before going back to work.
All right, guys, episode 69.
Great intro to the sex episode.
Yeah, get your clothes back on.
Ooh, excuse me. Oh, no.
So how
Get out of his car and into his dreams.
into his bedroom. Anyway,
His houseboat?
Get out the backseat, baby.
fucking welcome to Beacon House Podcast, you guys.
Yeah, do we want to throw that caveat out here? Like, this is the sex episode, so for family members that might be listening, skip this week.
I don't know.
No, Hunter's mom. Listen to how Hunter...
Oh, God.
I'm going to have to
What
edit
a
that out
fucking
almost.
intro that is.
Sorry.
Casey's gone for the episode, Mom. It's safe now.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Good God, man.
She listens when she travels, too, so she's not going to know.
Sorry, Libby. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, dude.
Because
You
I
were
know
worried.
Hunter doesn't do that. So anyways,
You were worried about me being the one that was going to say something bad. Jesus Christ! Right at the top of the episode, you savage.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, for the listeners, this is episode 69 of Beacon House Podcast. I'm your host, Spence,
I'm your host, Hunter.
I'm Casey.
the one who said that stuff.
Casey just brought his fist all the way down
I'm so sorry.
I bet he
I'm
did.
so sorry.
in victory.
Yeah, love.
so sorry.
As Mr.
He got
Bungle
it right in
reminded
the
us,
can.
love is a fist.
Right in a butthole. Okay, so...
So
If you
yeah,
use the right lube for it.
we've known for a long time, guys. This is going to be kind of the episode 69 had to be about sex.
Can this be called American Pie?
No.
No.
No? Okay.
40-year-old virgin.
Oh no. I don't know what it's going to
The
be
deep,
called.
dark
We'll see.
secret.
And full disclosure, you guys, I will reveal that we did have a guest lined up. She wasn't able to make it, but it was somebody who wanted to remain anonymous that works at a local sex store
So hopefully we'll have her on soon.
selling movies and adult toys and that kind of stuff. And she had a lot of fun stories to share. So we hope that's still going to materialize down the road.
Maybe episode 169?
I don't know. Just anytime she can make it, because I went in to meet her and I'll tell a little bit of story about how I met this person. Okay, well, again, they have to remain anonymous, and the store has to remain
Are you
anonymous.
going to tell us why you went into the store that we can't know the name of?
Well, because we were trying to line up an episode, a guest for this episode.
Don't lie to your listeners.
Shut up. I was actually on my way back from getting a haircut. And I'm
Getting a
like,
hair job?
Haircut.
A hair job.
yeah, dude. And I went by the place, and I knew that we needed to try to make contact with somebody, and we hadn't gotten anybody. And I just literally pulled in the place, and
First of all, Hunter's going to be full. Hunter's going to be full of innuendos. He's going to take
You made
everything
contact
we say,
and then you pulled in?
everything we say. He's going to take in a sexual way just because it's episode 69.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Hunter.
You're welcome.
I'll be prepared.
Sophomore humor right here.
I'll be prepared for
But
it.
a senior brain.
God, what a dick face. So, anyway, I pull into this place, and I nearly lost my nerve, and I was like, man, I can't just cold roll up in this place and offer somebody to do an interview, and like, I drove around behind the place, and I was like, you know what, man? It's
Try to
now-
go through the back door.
No, there was no back door.
Thank you, Casey.
And I was like, man, I got to do it. We've got to do it. So I just got out.
gotta do it.
I parked. I went in, and fucking one of the first people I met was somebody that was extremely outspoken about this kind of stuff people come in and ask for, the apprehensions people have. Started telling some crazy stories about phone calls she gets. And I was like, this is perfect. And I said, would you be willing to be on a podcast? And she said yes. And so we wrote down, and we even had one more contact between then and now, and she just couldn't make it today. So shout out to that person. If you're listening, we still want to have you on. And I think your stories were absolutely hilarious. And we might kind of hint around to some of them during this episode. But we really want you to come on and talk to everybody. But for the meantime, we're going to take up the gauntlet and handle the sex.
I got some sex quizzes, guys.
Real quick, before
God.
we do this, is there anything else we need to cover? We got anything coming up? Is there any...
Face, neck, and chest, buddy.
I do want to announce something for
Yeah.
anybody listening. Party Chat is now available on iTunes by the time people are listening to this. It
Yeah.
should
Oh,
be
awesome.
up and ready to
And
go.
for listeners that we may have just picked up, why don't you explain to all them what Party Chat is?
So Party Chat is a mainly video game podcast that me and our good buddy Jason Turner
Shout out, JT.
something that we put together. Once Beacon House, we got this put together, Jason was like, oh man, I love to do a podcast. Me and him are always playing video games together, so we decided to tackle that subject. We also talk about pop culture things. I think one of the first couple episodes we did superheroes and our post-apocalyptic zombie plan, things like that.
It's always a good listen. The latest episode, even if you've not listened before, has I think a pretty golden, funny gem 30 minutes into it.
Lincoln the dog is our mascot, and he likes to interject whenever he feels is necessary.
Yeah, so definitely check out Party Chat. That's Casey's other project, and you'll find it under the Beacon House
it is a Beacon
umbrella,
House production.
A Beacon House production.
And I actually put that on Podbean, is where you can find our podcast if you want to see our page. Under all the description and under every episode, it gives all the links to all the Beacon House stuff, so that people can find us through Party Chat on Podbean as well.
Right on.
Yeah,
right
actually,
on.
just a real quick reminder on that, because it's been a while since we mentioned.
Oh shit!
Technology and real life getting in the way, but Beacon House is the Heartbeat podcast is what you're listening to. But the idea is that it's going to be an umbrella that like branches out and covers a whole bunch of different radio
projects.
Yeah. So just
we're all
keep your
about
eyes
creativity here.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And I don't want to call. There's so many words that are overused these days, like collective. Anytime 2 or 3 people get together, they call it a collective. And, I'm not shitting on that, but really we just want to. The Beacon House is sort of just like it's kind of this room.
It's the beacon.
It's our idea,
hope.
of just trying to do something creative to people out there, and Hunter and I are in a band together, and I'm sure really soon this year you're going to hear it this year, and that'll be a Beacon House production. At some point, Beacon House Records or something like that. Like it'll be under the.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to create a production company just to license it. So anyway. That's what I was
stuff
going
is on the way and in the works.
Yeah, and I want to mention too, man. It's been a while since we've said this, but please rate and review. Please subscribe. Please rate and review, because here's the thing. Like I'll use this example. Another shout out to the awesome people that had us out last week, Capybara Coffee. They were so nice and incredible, and like man, you don't hear it in the episode because we were just at the episode, but since then, I mean, they have been so supportive of this podcast, and they were so cool, and they were real, just like. I don't know, man. They were
awesome.
Salt of the earth people, and they're so rad. So a lot of times we're trying to help out people like that by spreading the, the net that we cast. So it helps us a lot. Even if you're just like an average listener and you're not necessarily tuned into every episode, if you can just like subscribe on YouTube or wherever, review us on iTunes, that really helps a lot, because the more reviews you get on iTunes, the more
hit the like button.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, hit that little bell, notifies you anytime we upload a new video. We've been doing a lot of videos on YouTube recently with video games and our live show and shorts, things like that. I want to get more shorts.
It 100% helps if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And honestly, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you're going to get a notification like the day before the podcast comes out, 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
You're going to get the first notification that it's out. So yeah, man, please do, and share, and whatever you're going to do. Just if you are a fan of the podcast and you've got a couple minutes to help out, just do a couple of those things, man. Maybe turn your friend onto it or something,
And now coitus.
Let's talk about fucking
med coitus. All right, so
what are your
episode
kinks?
69? Episode 69. Talking about sex. Let's say that this. I don't want this to just be like a super vulgar, jokey episode. I actually think that I'm a big fan of like. Some like famous sex therapists and stuff. And I think that the human sexuality is like a real important thing. And it's a super misunderstood thing too. In fact, when we were talking to our friend, and I'm going to give a shout out to Leslie Payne, who's been a guest. She was actually our Valentine's Day guest. And we saw her the other night and we were telling her, she's like, what do you got coming up on the podcast? I said, well, episode 69 is going to be about sex. And she goes, oh yeah. And I was telling her about the lady I met at the sex store. And how she said people acted real weird when they called on the phone and stuff. And she pointed something out. Leslie says, man, isn't that sad that people are so like embarrassed about who they are or what they like? And I thought, yeah, it really is. Like there's this wall between like your privacy and the stuff that you really dig. And sometimes you think, well, something's wrong with me or I'm weird or whatever like that. I think if anything, man, I'd like for this just to be an episode about revealing like there's nothing wrong with you. You like what you like.
Well, and I think it's more of an American thing than anything, because like over in Europe, they don't shield people from like commercials have full nude people in their commercials and things like that. Like their TV shows are fine with it. Like it's not rated mature just because someone's naked in it.
Because you see boobs or something.
Yeah, but it's because it's natural. It's become a forbidden fruit over here.
Here in the U.S., they block it. They shield it. They tell their kids like that's not okay until they're old enough.
Sure.
They have abstinence classes where someone comes in and tells you that having sex until you're married is an awful thing, and sex ed classes, which are informative but also meant to terrify the shit out of high school kids. It's kind of weird that the U.S. seems to be very against being open about sexuality.
Yeah, and why is it so different over here? Is it because is there a money thing? I know I'm always like fucking conspiracy, but is it because there's money behind like?
I think it's.
Is it the religious right that's trying to?
I think that is more the ticket. I think there's a lot of people who would boycott and be very upset with companies that just allowed a naked person on TV just during a commercial break. Mm-hmm. That could pop up on their kids' TV show.
I think it's seen as immoral over here, and I think that kind of comes from going way, way back, but I think it's an inherited social gene from like pilgrims kind of thing, like that thing.
Do you think there's an effort by
like
the porn
period.
industry to prop up like if you can see, like if you could just turn on like ABC and just see like naked boobs everywhere, like I feel like a lot less people would like I don't know, like download videos or like get dirty magazines or whatever, wherever the outlet is.
Maybe. I don't know.
And the internet has changed everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's another big thing too, is like, like you were talking when we had Daniel Wiseman, shout out Daniel Wiseman. We had him on the podcast. Remember you guys were talking about the pervy guys that come into the bookstore and they try to get the magazines and stuff. And he's like, did these people not have the internet? It's just, that's almost kind of like technology has so changed like the sex industry and make no mistake, it's like a $5 billion industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to pretend like human sexuality is not a big part of your life, too late.
Well, kudos to the guys that don't use the internet, because we always sell at least 2 more products with them coming through. They need something to cover the back magazine and something to cover the front.
Is it still Weirdo Wednesday? Is it still Wednesdays where those dudes come in,
it's every day now. They don't have special days anymore.
They go. It used to be Weirdo Wednesdays when I worked at Books A Million.
Right.
And people would bring magazines to the cafe because a girl was working the register on the other side. I was the only guy. And they'd have a gun magazine, a bunch of dirty magazines.
And then like a history book or a history magazine or something like that.
Which also, why am I calling it a dirty magazine? It's not dirty, but people call it that.
Well, it's adult. Yeah, I get it. And I'm not like, I don't think it's completely like taboo to just go, because I know couples that I've even been been a member of a couple where you would go, hey, let's be a little dirty, and I don't think they mean dirty in the sense that like, oh, I've got my hand dirty on this rusty old appliance. It's like dirty in the terms of like, it means being like adult, aggressive, sexual,
Yeah.
I think it's a nickname for stuff, I don't think that necessarily carries a negative connotation, but man, I just think these guys that are trying to like slip out with a magazine in between 2 other magazines, like how suppressed are these people? And how could that possibly be healthy? Like,
well, I know that I used to scan those magazines for those gentlemen, and I would always find one that I just couldn't get the scanner to work.
Yeah.
So I had to price check it.
Shit.
And so I would get over the intercom and announce.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work these days.
No, here's the thing:
funny.
is everyone's listening to me. They're like, "That's not nice. You're fucking shaming somebody." I never announced what the magazine was. I just told guest service I need some help at cafe, and a woman would always, as a manager, would always come over and help me out.
Yeah.
Because that's what they were trying to avoid. They didn't want girls to see them purchase those magazines. And I thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was creepy. It's like, if you, like whenever you go to Walgreens, like when I was a teenager and I'd go to Walgreens to buy condoms, I would definitely aim for the dude checkout. Like if I'm buying a box of condoms, I'd be like, dude checkout. I don't want a lady to see me do this.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Like now I don't care. Now I have no care in the world. Back then though, it was just like, I was just like, bro code or something. I don't know.
I've definitely gone to Walmart and purchased a big box of condoms and like come through with just, but also other groceries too, deodorant and toothpaste and cat food and whatever. And it just goes down the little conveyor there. But I will admit that like the older the lady was that was like checking me out, if it was like somebody that was like over 60, I did feel a little bit like guilty. And I don't know why. I have no reason to feel,
Yeah, it's not like you're about to like wait for her to get off work and be like, hey, what up?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, projection of social standards, even if they don't adhere to them. Like that's the society back then when they were your age.
Yeah.
It was not about that. So it's probably what it is. Like you associate immediately.
Do you feel like, here's a good question. Do you feel like some of this suppression of like just natural tendencies and healthy sexuality, suppression of that kind of stuff leads to like sex crimes and like depravity and like do you
Deviance.
think that turns people into molesters and rapists and like because there's a the further you get into human sexuality, there is a dangerous line, and on the other side of that line is like sex crimes and stuff like which are horrifying and scarring and emotionally scarring and all that. Do you think all the suppression somehow contributes to that? What do you think?
I would guess not. I mean,
Because it happens all over the world in countries that they don't suppress like that. I think that's just bad people.
That's just violence.
yeah, I mean, not that SVU is the moral standard of America, but there's an episode where the Stabler character, whatever, I didn't know this. Apparently, he was assaulted or something at one point.
Yeah.
In that way, and someone was using that history as an excuse for whatever the episode was about that they did, and he was like, it sucks and I'm sorry that it happened to you, but it also happened to me, and instead of doing it to other people, I became a cop that stopped people like you that do it to other people.
Sure.
And even though that's fiction, I was like, I mean, that's fair though. It's the same, like, different topic, but not to belittle it, but Columbine is not, Doom and Marilyn Manson are not responsible for that. That's just bad, damaged people for whatever reason.
Did you say Doom?
Doom, yeah, the game.
Yeah, it got a lot of flack. It was
But it's the
blamed.
same thing, though. Like, I think those things can definitely be aggressors, fuel to the fire if something's wrong. But I don't think they cause it.
Right on. Well, this has gotten really serious. Let's keep it a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And why don't you Casey has
Yeah, you have quizzes.
I have
Casey has
quizzes,
looked
but
up some sex quizzes.
real quick. Because I saw something a while ago. It was like a little short clip, and I thought it was kind of interesting and funny at the same time. And it's this like little short that someone made where a guy was in a yoga class with another girl, and the guy was like looking at her boobs, and she called him outside, and she was like, "What the fuck? Like, quit being a perv looking at my boobs." And he went in this whole spiel about how like he was like, "Well, how do you not know that like in my subconscious it's a primal instinct to look at boobs and see like nutrition and motherhood and things like that," and like went to this whole big thing. And then at the end, she's like, "Well, yeah, you make a good point." She leaves, and he makes some sort of comment. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm interested in what you guys think about that.
What do you mean?
Like when people say, "Are you a butt or a boob guy?" Is it more of like
Butt or a boob? Oh, do you think it's like a biological?
like someone's
That's
like
the id brain kicking.
I'm
in.
not
like
either.
it-
I'm not either. I'm a leg guy.
a leg guy?
Really?
But I was wondering, like, some people say they're a butt guy, and it's like, do they say they're a butt guy because in their primal id, like, instincts, they see, birthing hit? Like, I don't know how to put this without sounding weird, but
I will say this.
birthing, like
People say
someone
that,
can,
though, that it's related that way.
There's
Yeah.
there's a deep psychology behind why people find certain things attractive, and it's mostly rooted in childhood.
Yeah.
As non-sexy as that is, like, I hate to say it, but I've read a lot of stuff and heard from people that know a lot more about it than I do. But
that probably sounds so stupid right now.
well,
dude.
a lot of fetishes and stuff come from moments in childhood where there was like trauma and fear. Apparently, I've heard that people that have like, and again, we're not trying not to call anything dirty, but people that have like pee and poop fetishes and stuff like that are that comes from having like potty trouble as a kid, like having a hard time learning to use the potty, or just like getting messy, or being scolded by a parent because you didn't use the potty right, or something like that. Like turns into like a weird adult fetish later. And again, not weird. Not saying anything's weird, because it's just you like what you like. I get it, and you can't help your background.
We're not here to kink shame. We don't yuck anyone's yum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't. If you're up to a certain point, you're not in control of your childhood.
Yeah.
It just sort of happens to you. It's like this washing machine. You get spit out the other side, and you may get spit out the other side with all these experiences. And some of those may turn into something that all of a sudden, every time you see it, it turns you on, and you think, and you know what I'm saying? That's the point where it's really hard to be like in public schools and things like, because you have people that everybody pretends they're normal. Well, fucking nobody's normal.
Yeah.
Everybody's an individual.
We're all weird.
Everybody's weird in their own way, and the thing is, it's got to be okay. But you have a bunch of people in that tribalism where people go, "What's wrong with you? You're weird or something? Are you stupid?" You get all these psychological things, and I think that's how people become the guy that's calling the sex shop at 3:00 in the morning, asking if they could just put the videos outside. He doesn't want anybody to see him, and then that kind of stuff. He's ashamed of himself, and I don't think that's okay to be ashamed. Like I heard somebody one time go, "Yeah, I mean, look, you like what you like."
Yeah.
Like that was a friend of mine that was actually describing that she liked to be choked.
Okay.
You know, not violently, but just during sex.
I feel like that is terrifying.
Well, it's
Like,
not the way you think. It's not like in a horror movie.
Well, I know, but on the guy's side, like if a girl's like, do that, it's like, no.
Well, and
No,
I
thanks.
had a friend one time that his girlfriend liked him to hit her during sex. Not in the
No.
face, but like in the side, like to, you know, and she would yell at him if he didn't do it hard enough. Like she had this masochism thing. So again,
How
it's
do you, like, if she passes out and you have to call a paramedic or something, how do you explain that
not
to the
like
cops?
that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like I want you to
But-
physically like
Well,
we're
no,
going to
but
go
what
out.
if-
Those are the things
But
that
what
my brain
happens
would
if
worry
it-
about.
They didn't have like boxing gloves on. They were like, okay, let's lace up the boots here. Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying.
You're going down in 3.
That's a different fetish.
And I don't know if we should go down this road anyways, but anyways, what if someone, a female is into choking and you do it and
Right.
she's like harder, and then she passes out and you do have a problem on your hands where you have to call the paramedics, and then the cops show up and they're like, well, what happened? It's like, well, she told me to. It's like,
Well-
well, now she can't really tell you that until she wakes back up.
Well, the answer to that is you don't go down that road until you've had a lot of long talks about it. And that's why communication is key to everything. If you are with a partner, whether it's a wife or just somebody you're dating or whatever like that, I'm here to tell you, and this is what's wrong with the hookup society. This is what's wrong with hookup culture, is if you want to be the least bit adventurous or even just have a fruitful, healthy sex life, it takes more than one date. You've got to have conversations about it. You've got to
Yeah.
be able to talk about it openly. What do you like? How do you like it? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to try that? Okay, ease me into it. I've never done that before. How's this? Blah, blah, blah. You don't just go, all right, I'll give it a shot and then choke somebody out and go to jail. Like that's, you know, there's a big area between like a hate crime and like being a little adventurous and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, but we were talking about it and I was like, yeah, I don't, you know, that's not really my thing, but I get it. And they go, you know, I didn't understand it first either, but you like what you like.
Yeah. I know there was one comedian one time who said that he was telling this story about how he went on a date. He met this girl at a bar and they went back to his hotel room and nothing came of it. Like they just kind of sat there and talked, and then she left, and the next day he saw her and he's like, hey, you know, I thought we had a good time. What happened? You know, you just kind of got up and left. She was like, yeah. She's like, I kind of wanted you to like force yourself on me. And he was like,
No.
I'm not doing that.
No.
He was like, I'm not going to have that be a situation.
Well, and I think that's it, hopefully we'll get to that in this podcast is the reconciliation of here's the thing, and you were talking about primal instincts.
Mm-hmm.
It's look, man, like I'm sorry if anybody's offended by this, but this is the truth. Some people have very aggressive sexual fantasies,
Yeah.
and they don't always fit into the extremely careful culture that we have now in 2019. Like there are girls that have, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's true. There are girls who have rape fantasies. They really, really do, and I don't think that they are waiting on some like complete stranger to
That's the
commit.
difference between fantasy and reality. They don't want it to happen, but they
Yes,
want to.
but something about it. There's
It's like a horror movie, but with
Yeah.
a safe partner is what it is. You're riding the edge, adrenaline and all. That's I think what it is.
yeah. So there's always something behind something.
Yeah.
Like they say that like everybody, like somebody was telling me like in dreams, any character you have in your dream is a side of you. If you dream about a whole bunch of different people doing things, those are all facets of your own personality.
That scares the shit.
Well,
out.
it's little stuff like that where, you know, like again, if somebody has a rape fantasy, I don't think that they're obviously they don't want to get like beaten up and somebody takes their wallet and like fucking steals their car and like just to go, wow, that was hot. But I think that they want to be extremely dominated. And
Yeah.
if you look at the success of like 50 Shades of Grey, you know what I mean? Was a super sub-dom
which
culture.
was super big in the Bible Belt.
It also, yeah, dude, it outsold Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Get your head around that because of Amazon and how you could just have something anonymously delivered to your house. Like a lot of people read that because it was super hot to them.
Yeah.
They wanted to wake up with an entire orange inside their mouth.
Whoa,
Good God. Okay. Quizzes.
Zing.
Quizzes. I want to do quizzes.
but you know, yeah. So, but no, I think people still do want there to be an aggressor and again, I think communication. To answer your question, I think you have to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you like to be dominant, and they say that like real dominant people like to be dominated in their personal life. Like if you've got a guy that's like a businessman and he's always in control and he's always like telling other people what to do, like in his personal life, he doesn't want that shit. He wants to be the opposite.
Yeah, I've heard that you're normally like however you are in
Yeah.
public is.
You don't have to go
what
very
you want
far
and
to
not.
Google an interview or something with a dominatrix, and she'll tell you about her clientele. And they're mostly like real successful people that just want somebody to treat them like shit, you know?
But yeah, going back to the whole boob guy, butt guy kind of thing, I don't know. I feel like I sounded dumb
No. You
not
sounded
really
fine.
not really well explaining myself, but I just feel like when someone's, I would love to see the survey or the information behind like somebody who's a legs or a butt guy being more of like the primal instinct of finding a mate who has good like birthing traits. That
Right.
sounds so dumb.
Well, no, dude.
No, it doesn't.
And then
No.
someone who's like a boob guy is somebody that, you know, maybe sees like someone that can nurture and like take care of.
I think it's partially that. And I was listening to a Rogan episode today where he talks about all the genetic encoding that we have like 4 billion years of. Okay, they were talking about possibly in the future storing information in your DNA because it's unlimited storage. We're so far from being able to understand the DNA, but you can encode. Like we're never going to be able to on a tiny strand of DNA. You could encode like the entire knowledge of the human race, and you could do that 50 billion times. Like it's insane. But they're talking about how our genetic code now carries all of the memories and information since we were like a single-celled organism.
Yeah.
That stuff is in you, like the propensity to be afraid of something that you've never seen before.
Looking up in the sky because eagles used to pick you off and stuff.
Stuff like that. So your desires are also encoded in that. So yeah, man, there's definitely a thing about like they say like I don't know if somebody just a suitable mate, but also I think there's another side of it too where we intellectually decide what we like
Yeah.
what we think is like if I think it's just I kind of think everybody's beautiful and I hate to be like everybody's fine and perfect and there's nothing wrong with anybody. That's the blanket statement. But like if I find like a girl attractive, there are certain things that I think are pretty about her, you know, and it's different for different guys. Like some guys just really like boobs, some guys like butts, and I just happen to like legs. But I'm kind of old fashioned, you know what I mean? Like
I feel like outside of all the physical attractions, my big thing is personality.
Well, of
like
course.
Sure, yeah.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm just saying like if I meet somebody and they're the most beautiful person in the world and they got all the right features and then they talk and they're just
They're a
like
piece of shit.
they're like I don't tip because you know wait staff is fucking lame.
bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye, you're not hot anymore.
Well, I wondered-
I think you were just
And I think that's weird how like that can make someone go from being super attractive and then in your brain you see them and you're like that's a disgusting person.
totally.
I used to
well,
wonder
and,
where
and
I-
there's an argument there over or like your raw sexuality versus your intellect. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if you imagine if you weren't allowed to talk for a year and everybody had to like hook up and mate and figure out their partners with no language whatsoever, it would probably be a little bit different. You probably wouldn't be that turned off by it. You'd be like, okay, well, you'll do. You know, people would just pick each other and have sex and you know whatever. But you know, at any rate, go on.
Oh yes, with the boob butt thing. Since you brought it up, I used to wonder where I fell with that because I never thought about it too much, and then I kind of realized, which I feel like it might be similar to what you were just saying, Spencer, that I don't actually have a preference. I take every person I see like individually, and if there's any physical attraction that ever happened, it was me registering how they work together as a whole
Yes.
within themselves. And
Okay.
I think it's important to say that. Like I said, generally, like I'm kind of a leg guy, but I'm not offended at the sight of a nice ass, you know. Or
I mean, 'cause
a
there are
good
people
butt
that-
or a nice figure or something like that.
there are
It's
people
the
that
whole
are
package.
like weak for redheads and all that stuff too, and I get that. But like my girlfriend history leading up to my wife is, you know, was like redhead and then like blonde or dirty blonde or something, and then brunette, and it was just the whole spectrum. And they were all very different looking too. There was no type,
Yeah.
and people can have a type, and that's fine. But I don't.
Well, and your type is not always necessarily the best thing for you, and there's this
Well,
whole,
also that, but
you
just
know,
on the physical side, I don't think I am either of them.
totally. And it's the whole. It's not you can put all this stuff together, and it's about how the person acts.
Yeah.
It's like you can have all these things and they can have all the right stuff, but it's how they carry themselves, how they walk. It's charisma. The ultimate, I think, most attractive thing is charisma. However they do what they do or how naturally they are, and that doesn't mean that somebody has to just be like showing off or something. Just how comfortable they are in their own skin, how easily they fall into their actual personality. You know, like that to me is easily the most attractive thing. You know.
Yeah.
So let's take some quizzes and see who
Shit.
gets an A for
We've been trying
ass.
to do this for like 20 minutes now. Okay, so I found three quizzes that'll be really quick, one for each of us. And then I'll do you two first and I'll hand my phone off and you guys can do the last one for me. I picked a pretty good one for me. I think
So
you
we're
guys are
getting
gonna-
sloppy seconds.
Yeah. So Hunter, I'm going to take you first, bud.
He's going to take you to task.
Yeah. And
It's gonna rake me across the lawn.
I have 15 sex questions all couples in strong relationships should be able to answer.
Okay.
Here we
let's try
go.
this. Hey,
I can't wait for this.
any family that hasn't turned the episode off yet, I've not even been screened for this. I have no idea what's coming my way.
And I'm pretty sure families don't listen to the podcast.
Well, welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch.
I know
Yeah.
a couple family members that do, so you should have skipped at this
hope
point.
they're over 18.
Who initiates sex the most? You or your partner?
Ooh.
Oh
Juicy.
boy. I guess me?
Okay. Let's see. What's your favorite time of day to have sex? Morning, afternoon, or night?
So what I'm going to do, to be fair, is not answer for Libby. I don't have one.
Afternoon delight. You got to pick one.
I don't have one, though.
Night. God damn it.
Just, you pick whatever, then. I don't have one.
What's your ideal length of time? Let's see. What's your ideal length of time, including foreplay, for sex to last? 0 to 10 minutes, 11 to 20 minutes, 21 to 30, 31 to 60, over an hour. I'm going to say 0 to 10.
Dude, if I were you, I would totally be like, is there one lower than 10?
It does say 0 to 10.
Like, I got shit to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude,
I'm kidding.
31 to 60.
Oh, God.
Full experience.
I guess.
My man.
Okay.
My man.
What's your favorite sex position? Missionary, doggy, cowgirl, cowboy, reverse cowgirl, cowboy, stand up, and spoon. I love this. Look how red he's turning. This is the greatest thing I've ever done.
I'm still picturing my stubborn fucking family members that are still listening.
Adam, I think Hunter's a missionary
I can't
kind of guy.
Oh, God.
No judgment, but I feel like if you're having sex in the spoon position, there's just a lot of apologizing, and there's somebody's probably got like a fur coat laying somewhere, and there's maybe like a coloring book, and everybody's just sad. I feel like don't do that.
Okay,
God.
one, let's not missionary. It works for a reason.
No,
But
missionary's
between
fine.
them,
Missionary's fine.
I don't remember which one is which, but I
just
think it's
bland.
one of the cowgirl ones.
Cowgirl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
just
think
yippee-ki-yay,
normal I can.
Hunter.
That's right.
What do you
Get along, doggy.
What do you like to have on? What do you like to have on in the background? The TV, music, or nothing? I'm gonna say music. I bet he like listening to like fucking
Barry Manilow.
BOD.
VOD. Slipknot.
Fucking, he's like listening to Disturbed, Get Down with the Sickness in the background.
I'm too fucking
No.
musical for that.
No.
I can't do it. I'll get distracted. It's
That's me.
TV.
That's me.
It's TV, and it's usually really
TV?
weird shit like
I'm a nothing guy. I
D&D
don't want
podcast
anything.
or Bob
Dude.
Ross or something that you can just tune out.
Yeah.
Do you like dirty talk during sex? Yes or no?
Depends. So we'll say yes for the sake of the question.
Sure. And I get, dude, these are hard to answer because, well, it depends
They're
on the
not
situation.
binary
Like,
questions, but yeah.
Right.
I'm
right.
trying to. I'll give you an answer that's submitted, but
This
I'm going to throw my
sex
caveats
quiz
in there.
is answer fluid.
Would you rather be blindfolded or handcuffed during sex?
Ooh,
or
shit.
neither?
You can't pick both.
No.
I think that's a legitimate answer.
I think that is, yeah.
Fucking
Oh,
A.
man.
You ever seen Gerald's Game? Don't ever handcuff yourself.
Get it,
Oh, that's
dude.
fair.
Get it.
We'll go blindfolded.
Okay.
Get fucking.
Dude, physical stimulus is a lot stronger if you can't
Here we
see
go.
it.
That's true.
Here we go. This is the question. Do you like choking? Do you like choking during sex? I thought it was, I said, do you like being choked? Do you like choking during sex? Either of you.
And you don't have to identify who. You could just go, yes, and we don't get to know which one.
We're going to say depends, but like the other one, that means yes.
Okay. If you were bringing something into the bedroom to spice things up in your sex life, what would it be? Dildo vibrator, butt plug, spanking paddle, cock ring, tingly flavored lube, role-playing uniforms, or none of the above?
I don't know why there's
Looking at all
above
this
stuff.
shit, I'm just like, I'm plain Jane. None of this shit is.
Here's the good news, Casey.
Can you read off the answers
You got
again?
a long way to discover these new things.
That's why I know.
Habanero pepper. Can you read it off again?
Yes.
Not-
If you're
not
going to
the
bring
uniform
something,
thing.
if you're going to bring something into the bedroom to spice things up, what would it be? Dildo vibrator, butt plug, spanking paddle, cock ring, tingly flavored lube, role play uniforms, or none of the above?
I'm having a hard time believing it's not roleplay uniforms.
Yeah, me too.
It's not.
I picture him being like jumping in a Spider-Man outfit or a Conan the Barbarian, and like Libby's dressed up like Jane and
No,
he's
Godzilla.
Tarzan,
It
Hunter-
does it.
Hunterzilla.
Yeah, the inflatable Godzilla suit.
and she's Mothra.
Crotchless Godzilla uniform. Hunter comes in the bedroom.
She has a stinger.
So I guess that means vibrating butt plug, right?
Oh God.
Jesus.
All right, what do you got?
I'm struggling to answer properly. Let's do the dildo one, I guess.
Okay.
You said that so casually.
Do you like spanking during sex?
No.
That's a good answer. Would you identify as more dominant or submissive in the bedroom? Do you like control or giving control?
Again, I guess dominant, but it depends, I guess.
Okay.
That other one, I'm sorry that answer took so long. There's so many fucking answers.
No, you're good.
I was like...
These are very polarizing questions.
It's not that.
Thanks,
I was just
BuzzFeed.
thinking about all of them. I was like, there's so many things to like...
Between you and your partner, who is the kinkiest? I feel like he's being very protective of Libby right now.
I
Well, he
am,
should
but
be.
I'm not being misleading though. Like these are not easy to answer, not
No.
because they're awkward, but just like how do you?
These are not necessarily.
They're set up kind of they're
could
presented
change
in
day
a
of the week.
vacuum. Some of them are binary.
You could be
so
feeling kinky one day. She could be kinky another day. Those things.
that's
could
also
change.
true. We'll say it depends.
Okay,
So
there's an answer here that says we're about the same.
okay, yeah, sure.
Who has the highest sex drive?
Me?
Okay. Who puts in the most work between the sheets?
That also depends.
We're about the same.
Okay.
And finally, what would you rate your partner in bed?
On out of what?
Let's see. Here's the answers. Poor, needs to improve. Average, could be better, but could be worse. Good, I don't really have any
Why would you
complaints.
even ask
Incredible.
this?
It's
Obviously,
quiz.
it's going to be incredible.
Is there anything above incredible?
That was a great answer. That was a fucking great answer.
I'll do incredible.
You're a man.
Hunter, you got 514. I don't know out of what, but you got a 514. So now
What does
you've
that
got your
even
score.
mean?
It's time to hand the quiz over to your partner. The
Well,
partner
right,
takes
but-
the. Okay.
That makes this
who's
a real
giving,
circle
Who's
jerk.
giving Spencer his quiz?
Hunter
I'll
gives
give
me
Spencer
mine,
his.
and then I give you yours.
He's.
So I select these answers and move on, right?
I'm ready.
Okay. What is your sex personality, Spencer?
Sex personality.
I wish you could see the picture on here.
What is it?
I'm not going to show you though.
What does that mean? Are there multiple choice?
How good a listener are you? Very detailed, reasonably good, average. I space out sometimes.
It's both. I space out, but I'm a good listener too.
So reasonably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer my partner to be kinkier than me, tamer than me, about the same, no preference.
I would say probably kinkier than me. Like I said, I'm kind of old fashioned. I hope that it's not.
So you're into it, but you don't want to.
Well, I'm single, so it's probably I'm super fucking boring. But I hope I'm not terribly boring. You know, my biggest thing is just being open to whatever, to
Right.
trying whatever. You know, like
This is a fun one. What is the weirdest place you've had sex? In a car, in a room with other people, in a hotel, in a club, in public.
I've had all of those except in a club.
What's the weirdest one?
It's not on there. I was outside on top of a shed at a park,
Shed.
So in public,
like a maintenance thing.
we'll say in
You
public.
could climb
then?
up there and nobody could see you.
Oh, okay.
That's still in public. We'll go with in public for that one.
Also, dining room table.
Damn.
I'm
well,
sorry.
he's not having us over for dinner.
I'm sorry. Not mine. This is when I lived at home. Sorry.
Oh God.
My parents are dead. Sorry, mom and dad, if you're listening.
So dark.
Yeah. They weren't home.
Which is more important to you? Connection, chemistry, both are equally important. Both
What's
are
the
equally-
difference? Connection. I guess connection is something you agree on. Chemistry is kind of a non, like you don't have a choice.
Sure.
I'd say both are important
Good answer.
because if it's all choice, you'll talk yourself out of shit. You know.
Oh, this is a. Have you screened these
No.
quizzes? It's so good. I wish you could see the picture, Spencer. Which would you role play? Strangers, student, teacher, coworkers, or other?
Yes.
Okay, other.
All. I would role play all of those.
Let me see if you can only select one. So other.
And I would say this: I've not actually had a relationship where the person was like into doing role playing things like that, but I would be totally up for. I think that sounds so fucking fun. Like where you go out in public and have to pretend like you don't know each other or whatever. Anyway,
Have you seen Black Mirror this season?
just the first episode.
Okay, cool. Which appeals to you most? Bondage, spanking, candles, and music.
Was that 4 things? Or was the last one
Candles and music is one answer. It's the
bondage,
berry.
spanking, or candles and music?
Yeah.
I've actually done candles and music, and it's not that.
It's not as good as Hollywood makes it seem.
Yeah, and I've not really done much bondage, but I would be willing to try. I'd probably say the most exciting one sounds like bondage, I guess.
Okay. You have a threesome. Is the third partner your gender? Yes, no, don't care. It says don't mind, but don't care is what it means.
Man, on it, like I said, no offense to anybody like that, but if I did have a threesome, it would have to be with the third person would have to be not my gender.
Okay, you have a threesome as a third person. No, okay. How many people have you slept with? Under 3, 3 to 7, 8 to 12,
I hate this.
over 12.
Definitely over 12. and I'll tell an embarrassing story. I won't say the number, but
I think it's good of you that you can.
Well,
you
and
know
I'm
the
nothing.
number.
Well, I didn't know for a long time. I didn't think about it. I never counted, and I'm not anything special. I just when I was younger, I was in situations.
You were younger.
Yeah, exactly. For starters, I used to be young, and I was attractive at one point, maybe, but probably not. But anyway,
You're the salt of the earth right now.
no. One time, I had started dating
That's a good
somebody, and I didn't know this, but she was a virgin. And we had been dating for a month or so, and we'd kind of fooled around, but it never really came up. And we got to having the sex talk, and she was like, "How many people?" And I thought she would at least say like 7 or 8, or and I counted, and I was like, "Well," and I had a number, and it was like much higher than her number, and her number was 0. And like I was like, "Uh-oh," and like things got a little awkward after that. Anyway,
I bet.
yeah.
You hooer.
I'll put it this way: it's not something I was proud of. We'll put it that way.
Sure.
I was like, "Look, I'm not. This makes me sound like somebody that I'm totally not. Like I'm not.
I
that-
was, but I'm not anymore.
I wasn't even like. I was never like a lecherous guy or anything like that. But I do like girls a lot, and like, you know what I mean. Like I'm kind of a hopeless romantic sometimes, and you know what I'm saying. I'm not. I don't prey on women, but I like women. You know.
Yeah, gotcha.
I just wanted to state that before somebody thinks I'm a piece of shit. Like
I can't wait for Casey's quiz.
Okay.
What is your view on sex toys? Love them, don't mind them, not for me.
don't mind them.
Okay. What is your view on swinging? I think it's great. Neither like nor dislike. Don't like it.
You mean like where a couple hooks up with another couple?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like sharing.
Not for me. I'm really into that like bond between the person you're into, like
How often do you have sex a week?
0. I'm single.
Well, you can't pick that. 1 to 2 times, 3 to 5 times, 5
Like-
to 7, or over 7.
Like, bro, I'm single and I'm not dating.
So 1 to 2 times for now.
But if you were dating, how many times would you want to?
I don't know. Want to?
You can see this
Who
picture.
doesn't
Hold
want-
on. We got your results for the quiz. You didn't get a number. You got a title, a label, a box that they put you in.
Great.
Shipped discreetly though. Your sex personality is a freak. It's not just sex for you. It's an addiction. Shit. Your desires and cravings will never quite be satisfied.
So frank.
And you might even find yourself in trouble. Connection doesn't.
I feel like from the answers that you gave, that is not what
It's
I
not
thought.
accurate at all. It doesn't reflect your
As
answers.
much as I wish that were true.
But just based
I
on
could
your
maybe-
final answer.
Can you email that to
it
some of
says
my...
connection doesn't matter. You're a creature of lust.
Can you email that to some of my ex-girlfriends and be like...
Sure.
Okay. No,
That's so funny because you just said that you're into the connection with the other person and you don't like all that
yeah.
extra bullshit.
And that I have...
and then you
I'm
got the
currently
connection
not
doesn't
seeing
matter
anybody
result.
and not having sex with anybody, All right. It's Casey's turn now to take the sex quiz, and I'm going to challenge you to take the same quiz I took.
Done.
So that we've got...
Look, I said it before. I picked a relationship one for Hunter because I thought it would be really funny to put him on the spot.
I thought he did really well. Okay, so
He
Casey,
did.
here is your round of
Thanks,
these same
guys.
questions. First question again, how good a listener are you? Very detailed, average, reasonably good, or I space out sometimes?
Average.
Average listener. Okay, next question. I prefer my partner to be kinkier than me, about the same, tamer than me, or no preference?
I'd say about the same.
About the same. Okay. And
I don't want them bringing some weird shit.
All right, so next question. What is the weirdest place you've had sex? In a car, in a hotel, in public, in a room with other people, or in a club?
I'd say in a car. I think that's the weirdest place I've ever.
Okay.
And it was uncomfortable.
Okay, next. Which is more important to you, connection, chemistry, or both?
Connection.
Okay. Which would you role play? Strangers, coworkers, student teacher, or other?
Other.
Other. What would it be? What's your role play?
I don't know.
Superheroes?
No, I want her to dress up in the Leia bronze bikini kind of thing.
Star Wars.
And I'd be Han.
Got it.
She had to save me from carbonite.
Okay.
Is that the other partner in the room?
Which appeals to you the
He
most?
just stands there and watches.
Bondage, spanking, or candles and music?
I'm going to say candles and music because I don't want to be tied up and I don't like being hit. I've figured that out before.
But you could be spanking someone.
I didn't. Look, I dated
How
somebody.
much convincing would it take for somebody to get you to spank them?
I dated somebody that
I'm gonna
wanted
give you
to
my own
try
fucking
that.
quiz. I'll give you my own total fucking quiz. Right? I'm gonna throw this quiz away. Give me my fucking quiz.
I dated somebody who tried to do that, and it was not fun. They're like, they took a belt and hit me with it, and I was like, fuck that.
Wait, they didn't ask?
No, they asked, and I was like, we can try it. I'll be nice. We can try it.
You didn't dig it?
They hit me, and I was like, get that fuck out.
But have you ever been asked to hit somebody or spank somebody?
No.
Okay. How hard would it be? Does anybody put their finger in your butt?
No. That's an exit only.
What if it was a girl, though?
Exit only.
What if a girl went up there and to get to the prostate?
No.
Okay.
Get your shit out of there.
Okay. You have a threesome. Is the third partner your gender, yes or no, or don't mind?
No.
And
I don't like to. I really don't even like to share.
how many people have you
Sounds
slept
bad.
with? Less than 3, 3 to 7, 8 to 12, 12 plus.
3 to 7.
3 to 7.
So my number's small for a reason.
That's not that small.
Well, no, I know.
You're less. What? How old are you? Are you 30 yet?
Huh? I'm 30.
You're 30. That's not
Yeah.
that bad.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I'm not big on one night stands. I can't. I
Me
don't.
neither.
I hate them. I want to make a connection with somebody and actually have feelings for somebody before I make that commitment.
And I'd like to make a statement too. Again, I know hookup culture is super popular these days, but I will say this, man. Like, the sexual experiences you have with somebody that you are being monogamous with and you're with over a period of time get better and better.
Yeah.
Like, first time sex is usually pretty awkward for most people. Like, sadly, I know that's not the sexiest thing to say. And like, again, I'm sure some people meet and have amazing sex and total chemistry, but there's definitely something to be said for longevity. You know, what's your view on sex toys, Casey? Love them? Don't mind them? Not for you?
I don't mind them. I don't want them used on me.
Well, they're not all the same. That's you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
There's a difference between like, you know.
Well, like if a girl, there's a thing. It's a glove that vibrates, and the girl's supposed to use it on the guy.
Okay.
I hear that, and I'm just like, nah, I'm all right. I'm playing. I'm more.
Shit, I'm like, sign me up.
That sounds
I'll keep
weird.
one of those in the
I'm
glove
more-
box.
See, I get more my rocks off with skin to skin contact.
Okay, got it. What's your view on swinging? I think it's great. Don't like it or
Don't like it. I'm not a big sharer.
okay. And I'm feel the same way. How often do you have sex a week? Again, you have to pick one of these.
Okay. When in a relationship, how many? What is it?
We'll say when in a relationship. How many
Yeah.
times a week?
What are the answers?
1 to 2 times, 3 to 5 times, 5 to 7 times, 7 more times.
I was a 3 to 5 time kind of guy.
Got it. What's going to say here? You are shy and attentive. You're relatively conservative, but attentive and mindful. You could benefit from being a little more comfortable with your sexuality. You need a connection
That's
to
weird.
achieve the most satisfying.
I think they're just
sex.
mad at me because I don't like toys.
I don't know.
It's because you won't hit anybody.
Well, it said I was a freak, and I'm definitely not a freak, you know. But I don't. I'm very not sexually inhibited. I'll say that, you know. Like but I consider the sexuality to be a part of a human. You know, I don't think it's shameful, and I don't think it's like, you know, blah blah blah. I guess
Right.
if we're gonna wrap up on a discussion of anything, I would say
Don't let the internet tell you what your sex is.
that totally, and like, don't be ashamed of things, and be ready to communicate and talk about them, and like get all that weird anxiety out of the way, and just like, you know, find somebody you can talk to about it. And I would say if you're in it, I'm not currently in a relationship, but I've been in them, and I think I know what a healthy relationship looks like. Maybe, fuck, who knows? But you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're unable to talk about those kind of things, like, I'd say you need to look at that. You need to talk about it, and it needs to be out. There shouldn't be any weird taboo between couples if they're really close, or if you're married or something. And if there's a problem, I think you need to get to work on that, and maybe even do a little therapy or something like that. You know, because those are really important parts of you. And they can't be suppressed like that. I think a lot of that sexual suppression is what leads to people that just like go nuts. Or, I don't know, what do you guys think?
I'm right there with you. I think communication's key. Being able to talk about stuff like that. I think if you're in a relationship and one of the people in that relationship are uncomfortable about talking about anything sexual, that's a problem. Like, there should be a discussion, especially before you do anything like that, so you know what to do and what not to do, and like
Sure.
what to avoid and what to seek.
Yeah, and I think also, we've probably touched on this before too, but I think it's wrong to make somebody feel stupid or weird about something that they're into, especially if they try to. It takes a lot of courage to approach somebody and go, hey, I kind of like this, or I kind of like that, or would you be willing to try this or whatever. Like, that's a great like field of discovery. Like if somebody approaches you with something like that, you should consider yourself lucky because they trust you. And if you make them feel weird about it or you react in a shitty way or something like that, you're not doing anything to protect yourself. You're completely destroying the trust that your partner has with you. They're never going to tell you again. And eventually, if they find somebody else they can talk to more easily about stuff like that, you're going to lose. So I think it's important to be open and to be accepting. And, it doesn't mean you have to pretend to be into it. You can always go, it's not really my thing, but, there's a compromise. Like,
Yeah, not really my thing, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and I think that leads to a lot of stuff. And I will say this too, man. There have been times where I've been hell-bent on being a nice guy and, being real careful not to be lecherous to women and not predatory and that kind of stuff. But, my therapist was telling me something. She said, that pleasure is important. It's very important. And it releases a lot of chemicals that bond a couple. You know what I mean? So don't get too high up on that hill of being like the nice guy. And I will say this too. There's a lot of information about now that girls are sick of guys pretending to be the nice guy and expecting something for it. It's good to be polite. It's good to have manners. But if you're just thinking that women should follow your feet because you're the nice guy, you're just as bad as the douchebag that thinks they should follow his feet because he's hot shit.
Yeah.
You need to, it's okay to have desires and it's okay to be forward and it's okay to be brave. And you know what I'm saying? Like that's sort of the thing. Like, and I've stood on that nice guy hill before and I'm like, well, I'm a really nice guy. Like, great. How's that working out for you? You know what I mean? Ask anybody. Like, there's a difference between somebody that expects to get something for that and somebody that's afraid to make an advance on somebody or their partner, initiate something like that. But there are things that happen when somebody has a sexually healthy relationship and it bonds people together in a way that talking and hanging out and being nice can't do. So that's a big, I don't know. I guess if there's any, I'm just saying be comfortable with your sexuality and don't be ashamed of it. And, it's part of health, I guess.
I think I'm good.
Hunter's going to go home, try not to get in trouble for what he said on this podcast.
Catwoman's not evil. Batman should get over it.
Fuck. Trust me. I'm taking that dagger away.
Goddamn pen is blue.
Oh my.